Hey, it's back to me, or Dim Alliance. It's me, Spycoast1000 here. Going to do a video. In this video, I am making the Reincarnated as a slime characters into dragons. I used 6 characters, and the 6 I used were the following: Gabiru as a hybrid elemental of water and fire, Gale as a pure earth, then, if I remember correctly, Beimaru as a pure fire, and Soye as a pure air. Then I did Rimuru Tempest as a water, air, fire, and earth hybrid elemental. And then Malim Nava. Originally I was going to use a air, but instead you replace it with water. And so now it's a water, fire, earth elemental. So without further ado, let's roll intro, let's get into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, so best way to... Okay, it's me, Karma. Sorry. Ay, caramba. It's a little pain in the butt with my voice. Sorry, like I was saying, it's me, Karma. And let's just say, I'm about to start creating some new elementals. So I'm going to start going with y'all in the process. First part is simply enough finding what elemental I want to make. And for this one, I'm going to be using a fire elemental, but I'm using some parts of Gabiru, and he's a lizardman. So I'm also using water elemental energies. Next, I open up the I expand them in my mind and pretty much connect them together and add in a few solidified rocks here and there, and some ice parts in order to actually make it solid and have a physical body. Still, like the name suggests, if you give it a name and all that, it becomes more powerful. And for the record, yes, this is still in the Jura Tempest Forest. Still in the Jura Forest. It's a very, very big place, but it's in a more of a swampy island that is segregated from a good chunk of the other places. It's all the plants I've made are pretty near well fireproof. Like you try and ignite a giant inferno in here, even a cruel sun won't do it. Look, I've tested it. Nothing. So yeah, and a cruel sun's pretty much a meteor sun in my hands. But anyways, after connecting all the energies, you're then pretty much left with a miniature version, or something resembling like an orb. What you want to do is either throw it in water or fire, depending on the elemental. But since this is a combination elemental, it's a very big pain in the butt to make, because two opposites. I'm having to use superheated water, pretty much near on the verge on becoming plasma. Yeah, water vapor. And I pretty much just drop it in there. What the? Okay, that was weird. And for the record, now I am flying. And one way I say that is weird, because this thing, that energy is just somehow merged together while in the water, cooking some of the metal from the pot, which was I had nearby because I was cooking some food, okay? I was hungry. This thing absorbed the metal and turned into a trident. Well, now it's about time I go into classification. I give you the water and fire elemental known as Boiling Trident. That's the most creature name, and the most common name is, well, Boiling Trident. And weirdly enough, the thing has a stone face, not really a dark red or anything. Like a stony purple. And let's get to the next one. Okay, this next one is a whole lot simpler because it's just a pure, full-on earth elemental. And so the next one is a fire and another air. But this one is different because, well, it's just harder. Like you do, I'm going to be taking inspiration from Geld. Mostly his unique skill, well, or just skill in general, Earthquake. Pretty much, I've already got a name for this one too. Earth Elemental Earthquake Stomper. Or most common name, going to be known about these parts, is soon going to be Earthquake Stomper. And for the record, once I, like I already suggested, but this time I have to actually get some existing energies from a creature that's already been around, a primal earth elemental. My father, who's the overseer and a Demos, gave me access to pretty much every single bloody one there is. And for the record, I'm starting to realize that it makes a lot more sense why my arm is kind of domestic and why I have a freaking tail. At first I thought they were just birth defects. Turns out they aren't. And since I realized I am part Demost, things are starting to get changing. Also, though, other than the fact my eyes have turned into that of a Demost and my hair has started to come shadowy into it. And let's just say my regeneration's gone stupidly higher. But anyways, using the Primal Earth Elemental, I pretty much make the design to proportions in my head. When it comes for a solid Earth Elemental, it's a very tricky process because you gotta actually imagine how much each limb would weigh and what kind of eyes you want them to have. For this one, I gave it a darker red color, but also you want to imagine what kind of colored rocks. Since this one is different, I'm going for a grayish blue for the lower parts and the claws on lower parts on arms and legs, and a brownish rock for the neck and head, and the rest is more like a rocky metallic gray color. After I envision all that and add all the specified weight and all that and energies, I condense it all into the orb. But this is where it's getting a pain in the butt. I got the orb in my hand, but the pain in the butt part comes from the fact where you actually get to pretty much summon the Earth Elemental for the first time. This one's a little different, because instead of throwing it, you actually need to grab a rock and pretty much merge it in with it. Since it's an Earth Elemental, it would merge into the rock, pretty much like it's sinking into it. Then it's a full-on orb. It will start shining into a rainbow color. Then you pretty much just want to throw into the air and pretty much run. Because my dad's demonstrated all this to me. Because then it would summon in the air by pulling the rocks out from around it and changing their color and type into whatever rock it was needed, and then proceeds to fall down, leaving a massive crater in the ground. And yep, like I thought, earthquake. Man, am I happy I wasn't down there, or I would have definitely, well, my regular human arm would have been crushed. Let's just say that let's get to the next one. Okay, so this next one is a fire elemental, and this is, well, one of the more trickier ones to make. Yeah, whereas a earth elemental is a near full solid body, kind of tricky in itself. This one is literally, from what I've done in my research, Beemaru is known as the Flare Lord and the third strongest after Zingon, the Mist Lord, who's second strongest, and Diablo, the Demon God. Beemaru is the old counter Demon Lord, for the record. Well, I went with his ability to pretty much engulf his sword into black flames, but I always make it to where the fire's on the outer edge of it. Yeah, it can still sprout from the sides, but it's pretty much just there. Now for this one, it was a little different. It was a little more difficult. You don't really merge any fire elemental. You do use fire elemental magic, fire elemental energies, but I had to get primal fire elemental and fire magic, then merge those two together to create the one I needed, and then add a specific type of coloring to it. This is where the harder parts gets to it. What I mean is, by the different colorations, there's different colors of fire representing how hot each one is. Black fire being the strongest. And, well, simple spells like black flames won't do it. Well, black fire anyways. Black flames is a weaker version. And there are more powerful ones like black firestorm. Well, if I use that, I'll be way too powerful. But so you pretty much take that power and well, you know, magic, and you toss it in pretty much. Well, after adding fire magic and the to the primal fire elemental, after merging those two together, I then merge the black fire magic in with the and black fire is the color, and I merge it with the black, and then I merge it with the orb. This orb then becomes more of a crimson dark red color, which is constantly swirling with dark red, regular red, and black, swirling all around. And that's pretty much it. Now for the different parts, I have to hold it in my hands and envision it. And, well, now I see is my body and I'm surrounded by energies. I, well, pretty much just set out what kind of physical parts I want the thing to have. Like golden more like a tan straps going down on the chest, a golden piece on the arms, well, right above the chest, and right below and right above the hand on one side, and the claw and the sword on the other. Golden waist, dark red legs and very dark red on the bottom. And black horns and black parts underneath the eyes. And, well, this is where it gets a little more. That's where it gets a little bit harder. Now, after I open my eyes, and all the energy is practically in there already. Now, this is where the orb is finally complete. You then pretty much just roll it in, or toss it into a open bonfire, which I got now. And that's pretty much how you make a fire elemental. But the elemental will take the fire coming off the bonfire and pretty much cause it to form the limbs of it and connecting parts. And, well, the fire above it comes from the black flames, which actually transfer down from the horns into the blade via the regular fire. It's a pretty interesting process, but anyways, let's get to the next one. Sorry about that one being so long, but anyways, this next one is a very, very simple one. This next one is an air elemental. It's a lot simpler to do than all the others. You simply just envision whatever parts you want. Since I'm going for sewing on this one, I, simply just close my eyes and envision solidified air in an orb. And pretty much when I open them, I have that right there. An orb and a solidified orb. Air and a solidified orb, sorry. And, then I envision primordial air elemental. Then I condense that into an orb as well. Pretty much merge them together like I did with that earth elemental. And well, then I got the new magic power for a earth for an air elemental. But since I'm going for Soye, I need to give this one a specific type of ability. And I'm giving it something called air strings. Air strings is a pretty interesting type of magic. Like the name suggests, you can turn air into strings, which is solidified. But the interesting bit comes from the fact that it is pretty much like a vortex. It's a miniature vortex, and if you try to get out of it, it would actually suck you back into it. Hence the reason why it's also a lot harder. But also, you can set up like a webbing, or you can spread out from your fingers from some creatures, like air spiders. Those things are a real annoyance. What they do is they use the air magic they have to spin a web pointing downwards, and well, use that. If it wraps around an opponent, they pull it, pretty much using the vortex to pull someone away. But since I have that magic as an orb right here in my hand, and I got it, I already set down the air elemental core. I simply just have to grab that and merge that with the other. So now it's a lot simpler than you would think. I just simply breathe into it. It then pretty much the air starts creating a air current forming out from the air element, forming into the core, and then breaking it apart and turning into air. And this it's pretty much like a magical force field, which is used to keep it in place. This is pretty much for all elementals that are like this. All air and what was the other one? And water elementals. And by primordial and pure fire elementals, primordial fire elementals are, well, how do you say this? Very old fire elementals that are practically immortal. You can dump fire, you can dump water on them, they're practically there. They're practically nearly impossible to kill. And then the pure fire elementals are their direct descendants. They're pretty much full on fire. And trust me, the reason why modern day fire elementals have the rocky parts on them is so that way it's a lot easier and they have less chances of burning down houses. Yeah, you won't believe how much of a nuisance that was back then. But now that this elemental has formed, it will start spawning it out a few more of its kind until it reaches a number I put in beforehand, which was for all these around 500. And then the age of maturity then kicks in for the newer ones. Then they wait till how many years has passed. Then they create another generation, and then so going on pretty much like human biology. But since they're air elementals, they are asexual reproducers. So yeah, let's get to the next one. Enjoy this one. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay, this one took a lot more out of me than I thought. Sorry. The reason why this one took so much out of me is because I made the mistake of using a slime monster core. It's a very simple core to mess with. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Finally, my stand regeneration magic has kicked in. These take a lot out of you. I'm only recording this after making this new elemental, is because I forgot to press the record button and I was so exhausted after this. Okay, anyways, this new elemental is based off of slime, and I made the mistake of making it into a water elemental slime at first. I then gave it a top shell of an earth elemental, but this can be maneuvered to break apart into form like little joints, or whatever. This thing can actually shape its body to whatever it wants. But in its base form, it has air on the bottom part, water in the middle, rock on the top part, and the air goes all the way up to it. And, well, fire coming off of it like a mohawk. And when I say this thing is able to maneuver and shape its body to whatever it wants, it is able to, my good example is it's able to maneuver its water and shape it, and then instantly freeze it, like a fresh freeze, into something like a mace, or better yet, a morning star. The reason why it took so much out of me was how complicated it was to do it. I ain't gonna tell you how complicated this one was, because if you're ever tune with creation magic, you would die from it. Yeah, your soul would most likely be transferred into another elemental because of the last thing you made. But trust me, that ain't pretty. And for the record, I'm keeping this one as a pet, and I made sure I made a duplicate. Duplication magic is a lot simpler. I made this one, the other one, about still having 3/4 of those power as it, but this one's still gonna be the only one that it has the same power level. I forgot to say the names of a few of the past ones. The fire elemental was coming known as Black Fireblade. And then the last one's Air Assassin. And this one's simply Elemental Slime. Okay. I'll hopefully see you while I'm making the other one. But don't know how exhausted I am from this one. I'm gonna see you about a day afterwards. Oh boy, I made the major mistake. I made the major mistake of, well, how do you say? Well, you know Melinava from Densura, or Reincarnated as a Slime? How powerful she is, 2nd rank Demon Lord. Yeah, I made the mistake of making her in her armor as a elemental. By far not as powerful as that elemental slime could be, but this one's still stupidly stronger than the base form of it. I only limited myself to 3 elements. I was originally thinking air, but while making this one, and that's blood, great. And yeah, it's a side effect of using creation magic way too much, and being the son of an overseer. You are still mortal, but thanks to some magic I have gotten, I'm now immortal. But still, doesn't say I can't be not immune to stamina draining and sickness. I'm still immune to pretty much all elements, including all cancer. But still, something like this is giving me a massive... Well, anyways, I then, instead of air, I went with water. And the other 2 were always going to be earth and fire. And I also made the mistake of using dragon. Made the mistake of using mother freaking dragon energies. Yeah, you might be thinking, this is super simple, just combine the dragon energies with the primordial elemental energies, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Yeah, that's what you would have thought before listening to the first one. It's a whole lot complicated than that. Anyways, the wings alone were a pain in the butt. I made rock first, and then I put water in to actually keep it in place. The water actually goes all the way down to the back. And then fire to practically act as jets in order to keep the thing flying, because how freaking heavy the thing is. I then made the mistake of using metal for the earth elemental. But I made sure it has enough rock in it to still count as an earth elemental. And I made the mistake of giving the thing a sword. Yeah, I know. But I love how this one turned out in general. Took me 26 hours to fully create the thing, and I have no regrets. Now, I'm gonna go lie down for a week in order to regain all my energy from making these elementals. Goodbye, everyone. Okay, so I'm back and I'm fully healed. Yes, and I'm using time magic to resteel myself. Still about to take a nap for about a week because I'm just drained. I just forgot to mention this thing's name. It's Dragonoid Etl because I use dragon energy for it. So, yeah, this thing is a Dragonoid, but since it's an elemental, I made it a Dragonoid Etl. There is definitely going to be a human variation. I can just tell you because humans are freaking horny. So, I'm just going to go pass out now. See you when I come back. And when I finally wake up. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video because that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe today to join the Spikers Army or Demos Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.